All right. Hello, viewers, and welcome to the luxurious Let's Do Video boardroom. My old friend, David Danto. Dave, it's great to see you here.
Great to see you, Dave. It's a pleasure as always.
All right, perfect timing for a little bit of a post-InfoComm wrap-up. And I think, of course, everyone knows the biggest news at InfoComm was, what's that shirt you're wearing there? Talking Points. What do
Oh
you have to
yeah,
share with us?
it's the Dave show. Although you should be part of the Dave show too. But Mr. Dave Michaels and I are now working together, and I'm gonna. It's actually it was a great opportunity for me as I was looking around for my next gig when I left HP. Dave suggested that we might have quite a bit of overlap in just one small area, but then we really augment what we do. I have a lot more AV background and meeting room background than he does, and he's a lot more in the UCAS and CPAS and all the other ASs. So we're going to try and work together a little bit for the next few. I got 5 more years to go, so I'm hoping it's going to last 5 years, but we'll see. But it's nice to be an analyst officially now. I've always kind of been an analyst quasi for years, but now I'm going to see if I can make a living at it.
Yeah, you've always been in the analyst friend group, whatever hat you were wearing at the time, and now you could do it with no qualms. And Dave is a perfect partner. A lot of the analyst firms have different analysts that focus on different areas, and yeah, we all show up at the same parties, but you two definitely have different focuses. So I think it's a good fit.
Yeah, I think so. He does an insider report every month. And the last couple of months I've expanded it to include an AV section. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be dealing with, projector bulbs and rolling carts like the AV of my days. Anybody remembers what a lease gang and a Kinderman are and, slide dissolve unit, and I'm really dating myself. But lots of stuff going on in displays, lots of stuff going on in high-end audio and headsets and things that he wasn't necessarily looking at very carefully. I think we'll be able to augment it and really make it great coverage.
Yeah, and you both do a lot of writing and a lot of video creation, and I think with you helping on the content creation side, creating videos and writing, it'll free him up to, because he really likes to travel and he just hasn't been had any opportunity. He's barely left the house in the last 2 years, so let the guy get on a plane for crying out loud.
I don't think that's entirely accurate, but he did make the joke to me, or at least tell me the story. I mean, I go far back, you go far back. We all remember Wayne House, and Wayne House doesn't exist anymore. They were bought and changed and everything else. We don't have to get into the story, but he always felt it weird. I don't think he'll mind me talking about this because I always felt it weird too, that whenever there was an event, every one of the analysts from the organization showed up. You had three, four, five, six really good people. Some of them are still amongst my friends, but they will all be there. And I don't think that's really the point. I think if Dave can be, at an event taking place in Peru while I'm in Las Vegas covering InfoComm, and then we compare notes afterwards, I think it's just better for everybody. So that's kind of what we're going to try and do is the two of us can now cover twice as many things as possible.
Yeah, especially in today's world, it makes more sense because in the old Wayne House world, everyone would go and then come back and write their part and put out a report. You guys, you're doing videos together. So yeah, you could be in different places and then on your weekly or whatever video, what's going on in your world, what's going on in Dave's world.
Yeah, and the writing together and writing apart is something, it's only been a couple of months and we're still working out some of the kinks in that. It's interesting for two guys that know communication like the back of their hand. We're struggling sometimes to figure out the best way to track something and communicate about something because it could be a text message, it could be an SMS, it could be, a chat message, it might be a link that, it's coming all over the place. We got to work that out. But when we get on a conversation together and do a video on a topic, it's really coming out nicely. So we know there's a click there. We're just going to have to get the rhythm in terms of, the overhead and management of it.
By the way, that's normal. 90% of my content that's about small teams working together, based on personal experience with my small remote team. So yeah, it's anecdotal, but it's real, and it'll become part of your content.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And it's also great to have the other perspective, and when two people agree about something, it's terrific. And because Dave and I pretty much agree on how we see AI and generative AI and some of the dangers of that right now. When two of us disagree about something, you kind of, it's kind of like a marriage. You have to figure out what, pick your battles. It's like, okay, you want it to look that way, I'll do it that way. Okay, you want it to be that way, I'll do it that way. No, you can't change that one. I need that one to be like that. And we just kind of work it out. So I think it's going to be fun for a while.
Yeah, actually, your videos will be boring if you're just gonna sit next to each other and agree all the time. So a little bit is good.
No, I disagree with it. No, you're right.
So should we get into speaking of traveling and covering events? I'm getting he's looking at me like I'm suspicious over there.
Yeah, he's been peeking at us. He knows I wrote a bad review of the Sphere, which is why I didn't go to any of the Sphere InfoComm parties this time, because it was not a great experience. Sphere is beautiful from the outside, and it is such a ripoff on the inside. If anybody's ever been to a Disney park and taken the ride, the Soarin' ride, either Soarin' over the USA or Soarin' over California, it's what they're trying to do at the Sphere, but it's done much better. So that there's your comparison. But it's also, like $21 drinks and $18 popcorns, and I'm only exaggerating a little. So yeah, look at it from the outside and enjoy it.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got the perfect experience because I was part of a group going with I think AVI Systems sponsored it for with
Yes,
InfoComm,
they did.
and my connection was delayed, so I got in late. So I missed the coming in early and the drinks and all a lot of the things that you complained about in your blog of it. I got in just in time for the show, and it's been a long time since I've been in a good Disney show, so I loved it. When the elephant walked over and my seat rumbled a little bit, I was very happy. So I was the perfect audience for it, maybe. But I love the show, and at the end of the day, it's all about the show. I know that I had a lot of analyst friends that saw the Grateful Dead while we were there, and none of them had anything bad to say.
Well, no, the
that's
concert is a beautiful venue for a concert. It's beautiful for a concert. The movie, we had that in the 1970s. They called it Sense-Around, and they did it better. But yeah, I don't want to have too many digs here. So definitely admire the Sphere from the outside. It's beautiful, and it's one of the things we need to talk about when we talk about what we saw at InfoComm this year. What makes the Sphere possible is a technology called direct view LEDs. It's obviously lighting up. You're looking right at it. The pixels are enormous. It's if you look at it up close, you can barely see the images. It really only looks good from a distance.
I was surprised. I thought it, because looking at it from here, I thought it was like a monitor. I thought it was like, I thought I was going to get close and it was going to be like looking at my screen, and you get close and yeah, it's a pixel here and then a foot and a half over is the next pixel.
Right, exactly.
I might be exaggerating, but you could see each pixel and you're like, oh, wow. Okay. But the distance.
So that's the technology that we've been using for outdoor signage for at least 20 years, maybe longer than that. I don't know. I'm not the expert in the space. But what's happened to the technology is now they're making the pixels smaller and closer together. And there's a new way of manufacturing them called chip on board, which removes a point of failure that used to be there. A flip chip, now it's one piece, and these modular little pieces, and all of a sudden they're competitive with LCD. They're competitive for indoor high-end displays just at the purchase price. And then you start talking about total cost of ownership, and they blow it away. I mean, these things never really die. They might fade out after a while and you might need to replace a panel or two, but you don't throw them out like you throw out LCD. So you got, like, I forget, 3 or 4 companies in Asia making the glass right now for LCDs, and everybody puts their label on it and says, oh, our electronics are better. And yeah, sure, right. Everything's the same as everything else. But nobody's making any money in it. There's no margin in it. And now that you've got direct view LEDs, there's one company that I saw at the show that's actually making them in the same size cabinets as large LCD screens with VESA mounts. So, you lose your LCD screens, you go put these direct view LED screens in, but it doesn't stop there. These are small bendable panels. You could wrap it around the front of a room. You can wrap it around a column. You go up to the ceiling or the floor, put in curves, put in weird, odd shapes. You want to knock out one in the middle and put a camera through it, so there's a camera pointing at. There's all kinds of things you can do with this technology. So, we're at an inflection point now where you're going to start to see this DV LED technology indoors for high-end uses, and then start moving in and replacing LCD, which is an interesting thing to have been there when you see it happening.
That's a massive change. I mean, you're talking about like replacing glass, basically.
Exactly. And it's also not breakable, and the heat dissipation is smaller, and it uses less power, and across every marker, companies selling it make more money than the people selling the glass, but people buying it get more for value because over the lifetime of the unit, it lasts like forever. I put in the sign which is on the Lehman Brothers building. It's now the Barclays building when Lehman went out of business. That thing's up there still chugging. They might have had to replace a panel or two or refresh it or do anything else, but you don't throw them away like you do with LCD panels.
Yeah, that's also going to change the way we produce content. When I make content, I'm making this landscape, and sometimes I make vertical content. That's my biggest choice, landscape or vertical. And the only person who's doing anything different is whoever is doing the sphere is making curved content. But for the most part, we're all making flat screen content, and we're going to have to start making content for all kinds of shapes.
All kinds of shapes. And there's a company, and again, I don't want to tout companies because there's a company called Analog Way, which if anybody's really interested in the technology, you should check them out, because what they do is they have this stack of processing that lets you develop a pixel plane bigger than you can conceive. So do you want it to be spiky? You want it to be a football field? You want it to go sideways? You want it to go in circles? They have one of the biggest products in the space that does that. I was chatting with them at the show on Friday. Friday was my West Hall day, because I was not going to go back and forth between Central and West, and it was a travesty that anybody had to make that decision.
Should we have the Two Hall discussion now?
Let's get to bring in the dragon first. Let's show
Okay.
work it was to fly between the two halls.
Yeah, your partner made a special request that if you're going to be in the show, I have to get you on the dragon. And I gave a presentation at InfoComm, yay, about how I do these tricks that was well received, and I appreciate InfoComm for hosting me and let me do my presentation. And I'll put a link below. There's I did a video when I get back where I redid the presentation because they didn't record it. I got to record my presentations here. So I went back and I redid it for everyone here on YouTube.
We still haven't solved you're in a union hall, you need union camera people, even though the 9 people in the front row were just recording it on their phone. We have to resolve that in our industry.
Yeah, every session should be streamed.
Yeah, but anyway, for those who don't know, I have posted a video about it earlier this year at NAB. I think others posted as well. The North Hall was completely closed. It's being renovated right now, being ripped apart, so you couldn't get through it. In fact, the passageway, if you know the passageway to walk from what is now the West Gate into the central corridor, they actually knocked out a wall there. You can see the beams and the anti-fire coating on them, because that was the way that you would get from the Central Hall to the North Hall. And they say, oh, it's a 10 to 15 minute walk. It's 30 to 40 minutes out of your day one way. And then no matter what you do, I mean, if you take the loop, if you take the Teslas that are going on underground, you just have to walk to them. You have to wait in line. You have to get on them. You have to get out. It's a 30 to 40 minute trip. And then if you're going back and forth, it's twice. And that just shouldn't have happened in a show with 800. There were plenty of other halls in Las Vegas that could hold 800 people. Or, I think they finished the renovations on the South Hall. The entire South Hall could have run the show.
It's big enough?
Oh, my God. Twice the size.
Yeah, because it was ridiculous. It was a 15-minute walk, and it was an uncomfortable walk. Part of it was like through construction. And even if, a 15-minute walk, but I'm in the middle of the West Hall. By the time I work my way out of the West Hall, hi, David, how's it going? Da, da, da. It's 15 minutes for me to get to the West Hall to the start of the Skywalk. Then the Skywalk, then walking through the Central Hall to get my meeting. And it is my fault. I really should have had a West Hall day and a Central Hall day, but I just booked my meetings like the foolhardy young person that I am, and I wound up with a West Hall, then an East, Central West. So I was back and forth all day. My phone said I did so many steps. And part of it I blame myself, but we can blame them a little bit. And everyone says the loop. Yes, I took the loop a lot, because by the end of the day, I just didn't want to walk anymore. But it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't any saving time, because 10 minutes to the loop, 10, 15 minutes on the loop, but the loop was cool. I do like it, but it didn't really help that much.
It was 30 to 40 minutes either way. And honestly, you got to push back. You've got to tell people this is just not acceptable. We have conference attendees that are older. We have conference attendees that are disabled. We did a very big deal talking about, supporting the disabled and people with special needs at the show this year. There were some great sessions,
I did a session on that.
By Kaz, and they were terrific. And then you're putting this burden on, it was not our industry's proudest moment. We should be doing things, not just saying things.
Yeah. But that being said, at the show itself, should we get into anything else about the setup and this, the setup of the show, or should we get into trends and whatnot?
There's one other point that I'll make that was interesting, very briefly. I've been to, I don't know, I've lost track, 6 shows, conferences, business conferences since the start of this year, starting with CES, and every one of them is, look, it's I'm scotch taping. It's AI Dave. See, we got the AI on here. Every one of them was scotch taping and bolting and AI. And while the sessions here at InfoComm were also very AI heavy, including one that I participated in, the exhibits for the most part weren't. For the most part, it was very refreshing on the show floor to walk through the hall and see people talking about their core values and their core products, and not pretending to strap on and bolt on AI toothpaste, and AI parachutes and all the rest of that stuff. And I thought that was kind of refreshing, especially on, considering it was 100 degrees outside. That was like a cool drink.
I didn't think of that until you said it, but I do like that. This is the year of no, I don't know what to word, buzz, hype, fake thing. It's always been something. There was the year of disruption. There was the year of telepresence. There was the year of huddle. Oh, huddle, right? We always have something. Yeah, AI and whatever it is, everyone has it all over the booth. Huddle was ridiculous. Everything was a huddle thing. There was huddle. There were companies named Huddle that huddle products. It was,
yeah, I remember.
And last year AI, and this year there's no magic buzzword. Everyone's just like, we know what the market wants, and here it is. And here's our company, and we make it. It's. I think we're getting to the point where we're understanding what the market needs.
Oh, and by the way, have you seen our new video bar?
Did you say video bar?
Oh my!
I feel like
God.
a musical's about to break out. Video bar with like 60 dancers. It's right. It's the thing.
I sat down in the West Hall on Friday and stuck the camera on me, and I said, you know what? I've made a decision. I'm not going to list all the video bars that are at the show. I'm going to give you the list of exhibitors that aren't showing video bars. It'll be shorter.
Yeah, it was. Everyone has a video bar at the consumer show that we attend. I forget which show it is. I don't want to say the wrong name of the show.
IT Expo.
Yes, there was a company. I forget which company it is. They make stand-up desks, the electronic raising and lowering desk. And this is last year, and they said, "Oh, and we have a video bar." I'm like, why do you have a video bar? Because our customers ask, where should we get a video bar? So we said, "Oh, we'll get you one." Everyone is a video bar.
Okay, I'm an old school guy. You know that I'm closer to the end than the beginning right now. If a company is going to give me a piece of gear or sell me a piece of gear, I kind of want to know they engineered it, they made it, they did a good job with it, they cared about it. Dave and I disagree. This is one of the points we've disagreed about. I get offended when a company that's very well known for its microphones suddenly has a video bar that everybody knows they didn't build. Everybody knows they went to an OEM or an ODM and they bought it pre-made and maybe said put it in pink and make it a little more to the left, and then they slap their logo on it. That offends me. It doesn't offend him as much. I don't know how you feel about that, but a lot of the video bars we saw, I would assume, were made by the same ODM companies.
Yeah, I think it would have offended me a few years ago because there are some companies that put a lot of development to making some really good gear, and if there's a bunch of junk out there, I don't like it. But I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, the random video bars, they're not terrible. They're not junk. I kind of wish they were, so I could say, no, go with my friends at the companies that I like that make amazing stuff that I love, but I can't fault anyone for using one of them, so that makes me less offended that they're out there.
You can thank Microsoft, for whether you love them or hate them or whatever the relationship is, the fact that they are a dominant platform now in the collaboration space, and they require, or at least heavily promote, the idea of certification, means that most of these devices are going to go through at least some level of rigorous testing before they come to the market, if they want to say that they're Microsoft certified. So that's at least, you get this minimum bar of quality that, again, the last day at the show, the last hour, I walked by somebody selling displays, and all of a sudden they had a video bar there, and I picked up their little postcard and I said, who's responsible for this? And they said, that person didn't come to the show. It's okay. Yeah, it's like they're out there.
Yeah, it's not a priority for them, but their customers are asking for them. Should they recommend someone else, or should they just slap a label on it and sell their own?
Well, it forces the companies that are making really good products to build differentiators into them. I mean,
Yes.
you want to give a couple of examples. You can think about, like, and I don't want to throw out, names. I love or hate the companies, but it's like one of the companies that we both know is building a bar that you can mount vertically between two displays. Why they're the only one doing it, I have no idea. But you know
Seems
what?
pretty
It's different
obvious.
than everything else that's out there. You get cameras at eye level right now. Again, everybody's known my videos. The camera is at the eye level of the participant. It looks normal. If it's higher or lower, it doesn't. So that's one differentiator. Crestron just came out with their bar right now. It's zoom only, but they got 4 cameras in it, 4 lenses inside a little electronic shutter that opens and closes. It's different. It's interesting. It's what separates them out. You look at the stuff that Cisco's making. They've been making hardware and products themselves for years and years and years. They're currently the only ones able to switch between Microsoft and something else without having to reboot. That's their differentiator. So if you really want to be successful in the space, you have to come to market with something that makes your bar different.
Yeah, there has to be, it used to be there was those 3 or 4 companies that had the good bars, and they were fighting amongst themselves, and they really had to fight hard, but it was just, why should I use your bar instead of the other 3? It was a shorter conversation. Now it's, why should I use your bar instead of the other 1,000?
Yeah.
So more than ever, they have to have those differentiators, and they just have to have really like top level quality. Whatever resolution is top resolution this day, they have to have it the day it comes out. I mean, how many companies had version 2 of their top selling bar at this show? There was at least 3, right?
Yes, absolutely. But again, it's a weird space, because one of those, the bigger one that had their version 2, we asked them, do they want coverage? Should we come by and take some news from them? They said, no, thanks. So it's like, okay, no problem. I was surprised by that. We weren't charging anybody to cover the space. It's what we do for our readers. But wow, that was that was an interesting thing. So there's still a lot of interesting people in our industry.
Yeah. If I want to cover some, I cover them whether they want me to or not. I probably should stop doing that. But yeah, if I think something's interesting, I just talk about it. But yeah, that is interesting.
We are in a technology business, but if you've been to InfoComm for as many years as I have, it's a people business.
Yeah.
And you do the right thing by people, and you be nice to them. And we all know who the nice people are in the industry, and we also know who the people are that we'd rather not see. And in fact, one of the things I posted on Threads while I was at the show this year was the likelihood that you're going to walk by someone's booth and see that exact person you do not want to see is proportional to how much you can't stand seeing them. So, if you got somebody that, it's like, oh my God, I hope this person's not there. Oh, geez, he just saw me. I can't deal with it. So yeah, that happened.
And the opposite, by the way, I did run into a lot of people that I was very happy to see, but there were some people I was really counting on seeing that I just did not see. It was that big of a show, and maybe part of it is problem was that spread out. But Craig Durr, I just shot a couple of videos with him, and I wanted to chat with him, and I didn't. And he had a camera crew with him, and I didn't see him once. Melody Brew. It was like the last time, like, oh my God, I haven't seen Melody. I had where are you? Because it was that big of a show. So yeah, but yeah, the people you don't want to see, there they are.
all the time. You're bouncing off the walls, bouncing into them every day. No, absolutely. And I actually posted an apology to the people I wasn't going to see a week before the show. I said, look, I know it happens every year. I'm going to run into a lot of people I love, but I'm going to miss a lot of people.
I'm going to miss some of you.
I wish you could have seen them.
I have one more thought on video bars. It's all these new companies with the thousands and thousands of video bars have changed the game in such a big way. It's not just changing the way that the old school is developing their video bars, trying to be that much more ahead and differentiate themselves. It's changing the way they sell the software behind it. I'm thinking in particular Cisco. The way I thought of Cisco was they would walk into a customer and be like, check out our video bars. There's only a couple others on the market that are this good. You need our video bars. People say, ooh, let's put those in our meeting rooms. And then, hey, we got Cisco bars in all the meeting rooms. Obviously, we're going to put WebEx on everyone's desktop. Now, Cisco's strategy seems to be, everyone check out our contact center. We have a really good competitive contact center. And then when you're in on the contact center, then let's talk about the video bars, and then let's talk about the WebEx. So the change, it seems crazy to me, but the addition of more video bars in the industry has me talking about contact center. How did that
Well,
happen?
it's interesting, if I take off 9 or 10 of my hats and I put on the hat that I used to wear when I was an enterprise manager of this technology, one of the things that large enterprises want to do is reduce their list of vendors. And you see a lot of plays happening with that. One of the big plays, as you pointed out, Dave and I had a conversation about this recently, was with Cisco. When Cisco decided to become Teams certified and adopt Teams, you now have some of the biggest companies in the world saying, we've got Microsoft at the desktop, we've got Cisco in the data center. You mean I can now put Cisco at the desktop too, still have Microsoft, and I can get rid of these schmutzy old third companies that I was using? That's a good strategy. That's opened up a lot of people's eyes, and from what I understand, and I don't have the numbers, but from what I was told, they're selling like gangbusters right now into the
Yeah, it's
Microsoft.
working for them.
People never looked at it. Another example, Barco came out with their ClickShare bar. Is the ClickShare bar the best video bar in the world? It's good. It's probably not the best video bar in the world. This is an amazing job with wireless stuff. That's a topic for another day.
Yeah, wireless video.
But you have companies that use the ClickShare product everywhere. It's in all their rooms, it's in all their systems, but there was never a Barco solution for video bar. So they were buying Logis or Neats or Polys. Now they can say, wait a minute, all these ClickShares that we own, we can now just get the bar and we can omit another vendor. The purchasing people really enjoy this idea of not having so many vendors. And that's one of the strategies that these companies are following with these sticky brands and opening up the portfolio. How many versions of Coke are there in the store?
Yeah, and I've seen the same thing on the software side. It used to be, it used to be you had to go with one vendor because interop did not exist in our industry and things didn't work unless you got everything from the same company. Then things started working and we were best of breed. It was a fun time. It was like, I want the best camera, and then I want the best microphone, and I want the best software. I don't care. They all come from different people. And now we're getting into this whole platform thing. I've had so many discussions, customers, end users reach out to me and say, hey, can I talk to you for an hour about Zoom? And they want to talk about Zoom Workplace. They want to talk about the platform. They want to talk about Microsoft Teams as a platform. Just a couple of years ago, when people said, I want to talk to you about Teams and Zoom, they were saying, I want to compare Microsoft Teams video call to a Zoom video call. Or maybe they were saying, I want to compare Microsoft Teams chat to Zoom chat. And now it's platform, platform, platform. And people are... I guess everything's gotten good enough that we don't need best of breed. You can get everything from one vendor and it'll all be good enough.
There's a factor of convenience. It's a slider, convenience versus quality. Could you improve the quality by differentiating a little bit between, the best in breed? Yeah. How much more is that going to be worth? What are my calls? Are my calls with my friend David for a webcast that's going to be out all over the internet? You know what? Let's use the video service that actually does better recordings. Is my call to my coworker 5 minutes ago just to find out what we were doing for lunch? You know what? If that doesn't make a really good recording, and if I have to run it through Handbrake to improve it, I'm not going to do that about our lunch discussion. So that's where you get into the what quality are you shooting for? Everybody knows which is the more convenient platform, and everybody knows which is the higher quality platform. What do you want to? Which do you want? What do you want to sell as?
But the question, like you said, it's which platform now, and we did pretty good without talking about AI, but AI is a big part of it. AI changes the discussion of. It's a lot easier to use. Oh, I want to use Zoom for meetings and Zoom for chat and Microsoft for calendar and WebEx for events. If we're not using AI to tie everything together. If I'm using AI to look in my emails and help me with my meetings and understand what's going on in my chats, then I'm stuck. I have to pick a platform.
Well, AI would definitely be another conversation for a topic, probably for you and Tim to talk about, not you and me. But it would take an entire show because I'm one of the few people that believes we are so overhyped and over our skis in terms of generative AI. As a tool, it's awesome. We should all know how to use it. We should all be able to work with it. We should all figure it out as best as we can. As a, hey, you need to build your business process with this, man, this thing's going to burn to the ground. Whatever we're going to have in the next 5 or 6 years is going to be built from the ashes of all the mistakes that we're making right now. And I could tell you a dozen of them that are, hallucinations, just the smallest part of it. So,
but it's hard not to ride the hype. I'm really, let's do video. I'm tempted to get let's do AI, make it a website, just because it'll get clicks.
I
It doesn't
gotta
matter
get the
what
Scotch tape. Where's the
There you
Scotch
go.
tape?
A-
Gotta put it on again. Yeah.
AI Dave. Another thing I'm thinking of doing is let's do video bars. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now, but I feel like if I put video bars up on a website, they'd sell. It's crazy.
They probably would. Or you could start doing product endorsements like they used to do on old TV, you know, like buy this brand. It's the one that I endorse. So yeah, only we could make money doing that.
So, anything else we need to talk about today?
No.
Would like to.
We have hit the end of the conference season. We're now going
Yes.
into the summer stretch.
No traveling for a while.
Next big conference, you and I will both be together, right? At Commercial Integrator Expo in Denver in September.
Oh, yes, and possibly at WebEx One before that in August.
WebEx, I thought WebEx One was in October.
Oh, wait, you might be right. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty sure about that one. I'm remembering when I asked
right.
the Cisco team when it is. They both said it at exactly the same time as if they'd rehearsed it. So yeah, no.
Okay,
Early
so September is the next time I got to get on a plane.
CEDIA Commercial Integrator Expo taking
That's a
place
great
in
event.
Denver. Definitely come because I'm the track chair of the Unified Communication track there. Dave is one of our speakers. Thank you for agreeing to do that, David. We're going to be talking about AI and unified communication. I think your session is how to pick the best video bar. So you got some
Are you
time to work
serious?
on it. I think so. I have to look
my
at it again. I
goodness.
haven't looked in a while.
That'll be fun.
And then in October we've got WebEx One where I'll be flying down to you probably in Florida.
In Miami, yes. Yeah, last year at the CEDIA show, there were two stages. One had a big sign on it that said the smart stage, and the other one was the stage that I was at.
Yeah, I
didn't have a.
I think this year we're going to do most of the sessions in actual classrooms. We'll still have the smart stage, but I don't think there's going to be the second not so smart stage. We've solved some of those problems.
I really took it a little personally.
Well, at least we gave you a stage. You know, when
At
you
least
were
I
at
had a
Enterprise
stage.
Connect, we only gave you what they give you a ring?
I got
Something?
the little booth.
Yeah.
The not smart stage, the David stage. That's okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for being here. This was awesome. We need to do this more often. It's nice to have you here.
Do whenever you like to. It's good to see you, and thanks for helping promote Talking Points. Everybody knows where to find it. It's talkingpoints with a Z.com. And you can always email me. Just Google my name, David Danto. There are 3,000 emails. Use any one you like.